Alright, we're going to look at some reference geometry. If you notice, I've just got some lines and some circles drawn on the page, and if I grab and drag, I can move them and do whatever I want with them right now. But what I want to do is I want to give it some reference geometry. So it's going to basically give the lines and circles and shapes of your drawing certain properties. So you'll notice if I click this line right here, over here on the left hand side, it brings up the line properties. So I can make this line horizontal, so you'll notice now it's horizontal, or I can make it vertical. And you notice once I give it that property, I can still move it, but if I grab just one of the endpoints, it still stays vertical. No matter what, it's going to keep that true. And if we want it to stay just how it is, you can click fix, and then now it'll stay vertical and it can't be moved. I'm going to take fixed off for right now, and we're going to go ahead and take vertical off. So one thing that you may need to do is make lines interact with circles. Now you notice that I can bring this over here, and when I have this line on the circle, it brings up the little yellow reference geometry. Now it'll show you the different things. So one thing right here that I can do is if I let go, it's going to make them coincident and horizontal from this point to this point. Now if I delete that, then I can move that all around, but you'll notice that line cannot leave the edge of the circle anymore. Alright, so basically what I want you to do is just kind of play around with different reference geometries, but there's one more that I want to show you really quick, and that one is if I take this circle and I take this circle and I make them equal to each other. Notice how they are equal. Now if I drag and make this one somewhere else, it's always going to keep them that same distance apart. If I drag and make this one bigger, it's going to make the other one bigger or smaller. So if I define this one, say I want this circle to have a 5-inch diameter, then they both will have a 5-inch diameter. So it's always going to keep those two equal to each other. One other thing with, say, the lines, we could take this line and this line and make them parallel to each other. So they'll always stay parallel. Now if I change this one to be a horizontal line, you notice both of them change. If I define this one as, say, 6 inches, it doesn't change it because they're not equal to each other. They're just parallel and horizontal. But if I made them equal to each other as well, then they would both be the 6 inches. And you'll notice if you define something that's equal to something else, it's going to give you an error and say it's overdefined because this line already has the property of length because we've defined it over here and that they're equal to each other. So basically I'm just going to make this dimension driven. It's going to kind of gray it out, so we can't change it. The only way that this one will change, because it's driven by this dimension, is if I change this one, and then it will change both dimensions. So there's some basic reference geometry. I want you to kind of play with it and see what kind of properties that you can make certain shapes have with each other.